Hello sports fans, welcome to Spruce Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over my 2024 Copa America predictions. And before we get into my predictions, a quick disclaimer. I really don't watch a ton of soccer, and I only watch international soccer. So I don't know the teams that well, but I'm going to try my best, and if I say something completely wrong, correct me in the comments. But beginning my predictions in Group A, consisting of Argentina, Canada, Chile, and Peru. And real quick, if you guys don't know how the format works, the top two teams in each group will advance to the quarterfinals. But fourth place in Group A, I've got Peru. They're one of the teams I don't know a ton about, but they have not gotten off to a good start in World Cup qualifying so far. They're the worst South American team, which is 2 points in 6 matches. Plus, in those 6 matches, they've scored just once. Now, Copa America, Peru has been successful in recent tournaments, coming at least fourth place in 4 of the last 5 tournaments, but I think it's a pretty safe bet to have them fourth in Group A. Third, I've got Chile. So Chile, like Peru, has not gotten off to a hot start in World Cup qualifying. Now, Chile is also one of the older teams in the tournament, and you can look at that in a positive way, saying they're one of the most experienced teams, but I just think Chile is a little bit behind the top 2 teams in this group, and I've got them finishing third in Group A, although they have been good in previous Copa Americas. Second in Group A, I've got Canada. So I think they're a solid number 2 here. They're definitely the second best team in this group. They've got some good players such as Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, and that'll be enough to make it out of this group. But I think this is pretty easy for Canada to finish second. And first in Group A, it would be a massive upset if they're not here, Argentina. This is really easy to predict, even for someone like me who doesn't watch a ton of soccer. Argentina, they're the World Cup champions. They won the most recent Copa America in 2021. They're definitely the top team in the tournament. Plus, they've won 19 of their last 20 matches, and it would be a shock if they didn't win this group, and it would also be a shock if they didn't win all 3 matches in the group stage. Moving on to Group B, which consists of Ecuador, Jamaica, Mexico, and Venezuela. So this is a tough group to predict because I feel 1 through 4 could really be in any order. Maybe there's a team that you can't see finishing first, but it's really wide open to me. So fourth in this group, I have Jamaica. Now, I think Jamaica is a pretty underrated team heading into this tournament. They finished third in the CONCACAF Nations League, and even though I do think they're underrated, I still have them fourth, but they are a team that could potentially make it out of the group. I just think they got put into a really tough group. Third in Group B, I've got Venezuela. They've gotten off to a great start in South American World Cup qualifying, currently sitting in 4th place ahead of teams like Ecuador and Brazil. I think Venezuela has the potential to make it out of this group, but I have them just barely finishing third. Second in Group B, I've got Ecuador. So Ecuador is a team I don't know a ton about, but from what I've learned making this video, Ecuador seems to be a really good defensive team, and that could be very valuable for them. Plus, they've been very good in World Cup qualifying so far. Some people have picked Ecuador to win the group. I think that's a great possibility. I have them advancing in second. And winning the group, I've got Mexico. Really not confident in this at all. They really haven't played well in their last 6 matches, losing 4 of them. So I could definitely see them having a hard time in what is a very difficult group against some underrated teams. But I do think they advance, but I'm not confident with this first place prediction. Moving on to Group C, which consists of Bolivia, Panama, the United States, and Uruguay. So this seems like it's a pretty easy group to predict and should be pretty straightforward, but obviously you never know. But fourth in Group C, I've got Bolivia. They're not the greatest team. They've struggled in World Cup qualifying, especially defensively so far, allowing 14 goals in 6 matches. Plus they have a goal differential of -10. Bolivia has also struggled in recent Copa Americas, not getting a single point in each of the last 3 tournaments. So to me this seems like a pretty safe pick to have them finishing fourth. Third in the group, I've got Panama. So this is a team that isn't amazing, but I feel like they could be a sneaky team. They made the final of the CONCACAF Gold Cup last year, and they also made the semifinal of the Nations League. Now, I don't think they're good enough to advance out of this group, but I could see them giving the US and Uruguay a tough time. Second in Group C, I've got the United States. So, as a US fan, it's really hard to say how well they'll do, because they just played 2 friendlies, one where they got destroyed by Colombia, losing 5-1, and then a few days later, they came back and played 1-1 draw against Brazil. So, I definitely think they'll advance out of this group, and it would be a massive disappointment if they don't. But they're definitely the second best team in this group behind Uruguay. I don't think they'll beat Uruguay, but I think that game will be close. U.S. advances in second place in Group C. And winning Group C, I've got Uruguay. So they're one of the top teams in the tournament. I've seen people say Uruguay might even win Copa America. They've been great in World Cup qualifying, second place in all of South America with 13 points in 6 games. Plus, they've scored the most goals in World Cup qualifying with 13, which is by far the most. Uruguay, one of the best teams in the entire tournament, should definitely advance out of Group C. And finally, a Group D consisting of Brazil, Costa Rica, Colombia, and Paraguay. So this is another pretty easy group to predict because there are 2 clear top teams. But fourth in Group D, I've got Costa Rica. They have no more Keylor Navas in goal, and that is their first tournament since 2008 without him. That could create problems, but they have been pretty good in recent matches, although I do think they're the worst team in Group D. Third in the final group we have is Paraguay, another team that's gotten off to a rough start in World Cup qualifying, especially offensively, scoring just 1 goal in 6 matches, and in their last 9 matches they've scored just twice. So it's going to be tough to win games, which you're going to need to do in a tough group, but it's tough to win games when you can't score, and draws are not going to get it done in a group with Colombia and Brazil. Second in the group, I've got Colombia. This is another one of the top teams in the tournament. Colombia is actually on a great run right now, haven't lost in 23 matches, and during that stretch they've beaten some great teams like Germany, Brazil, and Spain. But no question Colombia will advance out of this group. The question for them is, can they top the group? I say no, but I think it's very close. That leaves Brazil topping Group D. Obviously, they don't have Neymar, who's out with the torn ACL, but this is still a fantastic team. They haven't played that well in World Cup qualifying, sitting just 6th, and have only won 2 of their last 6 games. But I do think they'll bounce back. They've made the final in each of the last 2 Copa Americas, and I think they should top Group D. They'll definitely advance. And moving on to the knockout stages, I'm going to run through these fairly quickly because I've really just talked about every team. But beginning, we have a Group A winner, Argentina, against Group B runner-up, Ecuador. I'm going to take Argentina to move on here. Then we have the Group B winner, Mexico, against the Group A runner-up, Canada. This is another interesting one between 2 CONCACAF teams. No stranger to one another. Mexico has been the better team in head-to-head matchups recently, but I'm actually going to take Canada to move on. Then we've got the U.S. against Brazil. So as I said before, they just played a friendly against one another. And I think the U.S. could have definitely won that. And with them, if they have another chance at Brazil, I think it's very possible the United States move on. As a U.S. fan, I'd love to see it. But I think Brazil is the better team, so I'll take them to move on. And the final quarterfinal match we have is Colombia and Uruguay. This is one of the toughest games for me to predict in the entire tournament. These teams have actually played to a draw the past 3 times that they've met, and actually met in the quarterfinals of the Copa America in 2021. With Colombia advancing on penalties. This is essentially a coin flip for me, but I'll take Uruguay to move on. Moving to the semifinals, we have Argentina against Canada. So these 2 teams were in the same group. I think Argentina will win both times. And then the other semifinal game, we have Brazil against Uruguay. Really tough to predict. Brazil has advanced past 2 Copa America finals. Let's make it 3 in a row, and Brazil moves on. Before we get to the final, let's go over the 3rd place game, and that is Uruguay against Canada. Impressive Canada got this far. I don't think they're one of the top 4 teams in the tournament, but I think they'll make it here just with how the bracket plays out. But they don't stand a chance against Uruguay. Uruguay should win this game easily. And in the Copa America final, we've got Argentina and Brazil. So this is interesting. 2 big South American rivals. They met in the 2021 Copa America final with Argentina winning that game. I'm going to go with the same result. Argentina wins Copa America with a win over Brazil for the 2nd straight tournament. And Messi wins what could be his final major tournament with Argentina. And real quick, something to note for Argentina. They have an incredibly easy path to the final. Because they have a very easy group. And then Group A plays Group B on their way to the final. And Group A and Group B are both pretty easy because I would consider the top 5 teams in the tournament Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Colombia, and the United States. The only team in Group A or B that's in that top 5 is Argentina. So obviously, it's just the luck of the draw, but they got extremely fortunate, and it would be a massive disappointment to me if they don't even make the final, which I think they should have a very easy time doing. But that is my 2024 Copa America predictions. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any other upcoming videos. I do my best to post as often as possible. Let me know in the comments if I messed anything up. As I said, not a huge soccer fan, although I do watch international soccer. But let me know who you have winning Copa America. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications. I do my best to put as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.